Hi, Divorce from Singles. Thanks to everyone who responded. Hopefully this will be a helpful exercise for us. I'm Chana Irina Davidovich, and I am a teacher and a parenting coach. And in both aspects, as a teacher in a classroom and as a parenting coach, I use the Myers-Briggs and another personality index called the Enneagram to help parents understand themselves better, their parenting style, and to understand their children or my students. So I think it's just helpful to know who you are and have an understanding of the other person with whom you're dealing as a mentor, teacher, or as a parent, or in our case, as a potential partner, because understanding always precludes and limits judgment. Once you understand where someone is coming from, it becomes harder to put a good and bad quality on it and instead look at it as they're different than you and maybe or maybe not for you. So I think we should start by just getting a foundation in what the Myers-Briggs test is. You certainly can Google it, any of this information. I'm not sharing anything that you might not have easy access to yourself. Just for those of you who are visual learners, I'll kind of diagram this. So the history of the test you can look up. I don't want to make this video too long. It won't upload, I'm sure, if it's too long. So the Myers-Briggs has those 4 letters that you each got as a result. And really what they are points on a continuum. So some of you came out as an E, and some of you came out as an I. And really that's just where you are in a continuum of looking at the world from the point of an extrovert or an introvert. And don't get confused by these terms and of the wording that will be used for these points. And also don't assume that since you use the word introvert and extrovert in conversation and other contexts that you really know how it applies for this test. So for now, let's just leave it to say introvert and extrovert, and in a minute I'll go into what each of these means more. But let's say this is the midpoint on the continuum, and your results said you were 43% predisposed toward introvert. So let's say you're like at that point on the continuum, meaning everyone lives on a continuum between being extroverted and introverted. We behave differently in different situations. We all get shy at certain times. Some people are very extroverted at a party but hate public speaking. Some people are terrible on a first date but great in the kiddish hall at shul. So you could either be slightly introverted or extroverted, or you could be, let's say you got an 80% typing for extroverted, then you would be very far to one side on the continuum. So for each of the data points that we talked about, introverted, extroverted, the next one is the S, sensing versus intuitive. And again, I'll go into what all of these mean in a minute. Then we had thinking and feeling. And we had perceiving and judging. So wherever you ended up on these continuums became your letter score. So let's say you were an E, N, F, P. I shouldn't say score, it's really a typology. So that meant that on each of these continuums, you ended up, on this side, on this side, on this side, and on this side of the midpoint, and that these 4 letters together define your Myers-Briggs type. Okay,